Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Lalima Aneja Dang, and with me is Prashant Kumar Sinha with the Midday News. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chairs a high-level meeting to review COVID-19 related situation and vaccination program. Prime Minister to hold an important meeting this evening to review preparedness for the upcoming cyclone Tauktae. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan to hold meeting with state health ministers of Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. First batch of the drug 2-deoxy-D-glucose developed by DRDO for COVID-19 treatment expected to be launched next week. Country witnesses declining trend in the number of fresh COVID-19 cases, over 3,26,000 new cases reported in the last 24 hours. Recovery rate of COVID-19 patients improves to 83.83%. Over 18 crore 4 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered across the country so far. Medical aid comprising ventilators, respirators and other medical equipment arrives from Kazakhstan. Portals of Gangotri Shrine opened this morning amid traditional rituals, and heavy rain continues in Kerala as cyclone Tauktae intensifies. As the number of COVID cases is on the rise, we appeal to our listeners not to lower the guard, follow all precautions, and all those above 44 years who have taken the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine to get vaccinated with the second dose at the scheduled time. Stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today chaired a high-level meeting on the COVID-19 related situation and vaccination program. Cabinet Secretary, Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister, Secretaries of the Home Ministry, Health and Family Welfare, Road Transport and Highways, Department of Biotechnology and Information and Broadcasting were present in the meeting. In the evening, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold an important meeting to review the preparedness for the upcoming cyclone Tauktae. Senior officials of the government, National Disaster Management Authority and National Disaster Response Force will participate in the meeting. The India Meteorological Department, IMD, said that the cyclonic storm Tauktae has formed over the east central and adjoining Southeast Arabian Sea and issued a yellow cyclone alert for the Gujarat and Diu coasts. IMD also issued forecast that the cyclone would reach near Gujarat coast tomorrow morning. NDRF has said that 53 teams have been committed to handle cyclone Tauktae, of which 24 teams have been pre-deployed and 29 teams have been kept on standby. The deployments have been made across 5 states, namely Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat and Maharashtra.
Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan will hold a meeting with state health ministers of Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat via video conferencing this afternoon. He will review the current COVID-19 situation and progress of COVID vaccination drive in these states. The first batch of drug 2-deoxy-D-glucose is expected to be launched next week for COVID-19 patients. The drug has been developed by the Defense Research and Development Organization DRDO, which recently got the approval for emergency use by the Drugs Controller General of India, DCGI. Informed sources of DRDO have said that larger quantities of 2-DG drug will be produced from the beginning of next month by Dr. Reddy's laboratories. As the drug has got the emergency use permission by the DCGI, the drug will only be provided to the COVID patients by hospitals. The drug 2-deoxy-D-glucose comes in powder form in a sachet, which needs to be taken orally by dissolving in water. It accumulates in the virus-infected cells and prevents virus growth by stopping viral synthesis and energy production. Its selective accumulation in virally infected cells makes this drug unique.
Amid the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic, India is witnessing a declining trend in the active number of coronavirus cases. With this, the recovery rate is continuously improving in the country. However, several states and union territories are still registering a spike in fresh cases. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry today said the active cases comprise 15.07% of the cumulative positive cases. It said there are over 36,73,000 active cases in the country at present. As the country is registering over 3 lakh recoveries daily from the past many days, the recovery rate has further improved to 83.83%. Over 3,53,000 patients have recovered from this infectious disease within 24 hours. The country has registered over 3,26,000 new COVID cases during the last 24 hours, with 3,890 deaths being reported in the same period. Over 18 crore 4 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered to the beneficiaries across the country so far. Over 11 lakh vaccine doses were administered to the beneficiaries in the last 24 hours. As the third phase of COVID vaccination drive is gaining momentum in the country, people are coming forward for inoculation. The Health Ministry said over 42,58,000 beneficiaries belonging to the age group of 18 to 44 years have received the first dose of vaccine so far. More than 3,28,000 beneficiaries of this age group received COVID vaccine jabs in the last 24 hours. The Health Ministry said more than 13 crore 74 lakh doses have been administered to the beneficiaries aged above 45 years. Over 3 crore 87 lakh vaccine doses have been administered to the healthcare and frontline workers so far.
Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal today said there will be oxygen concentrator banks, OCBs, in every district of Delhi. Addressing a press conference, Mr. Kejriwal said it is essential to provide oxygen to COVID patients on time. He said the government started this for such patients. Mr. Kejriwal said 200 such banks will be set up in every district. He also highlighted that the team will provide concentrators at the doorstep of patients under home isolation if needed. The Chief Minister also said 1,000 ICU beds were added in the past 15 days and the positivity rate has now reduced to 11% in Delhi. Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has requested Union Health and Family Welfare Minister Dr. Harshvardhan for allocation of 19 more pressure swing adsorption PSA medical oxygen plants in 15 districts of Odisha. In his letter to Dr. Harshvardhan today, Mr. Pradhan has sought the former's personal intervention to provide for these PSA plants in addition to the 21 plants being set up in various districts of Odisha. More from our correspondent.
Making a reference to the Prime Minister's emergency approval accorded last month for installation of 551 dedicated PSA medical oxygen plants across the country, Mr. Pradhan has said that 21 such plants are already being set up in Odisha, with the DRDO, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas and Government of India setting up 7 plants each. However, in view of the widespread impact of the second wave of COVID-19 in Odisha, 15 districts need to have the facility of producing medical oxygen through 19 additional PSA plants on an urgent basis. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
The Defence Research and Development Organization, DRDO, has developed an OxyCare system to regulate oxygen being administered to the patients based on the sensed values of oxygen saturation in the body. The intelligent configuration of this OxyCare system provides automatic regulation of oxygen through a low-pressure regulator and an electronic control system. Here's more from a correspondent.
The OxyCare system developed by DRDO optimizes consumption of oxygen based on oxygen saturation in the body. It reduces the workload of hospital staff, eliminating the need of routine measurement and manual adjustment of oxygen flow. It is integrated with non-rebreather mask, saving oxygen by 30 to 40%. The OxyCare system with audio warning for various failure scenarios can be used at homes, quarantine centers, COVID care centers and hospitals. DRDO has transferred the technology to various multiple industries in the country for production. PM CARES Fund has accorded sanction for the procurement of 1,50,000 units of OxyCare system at a cost of over 322 crore rupees. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
In Madhya Pradesh, COVID-19 infection rate has declined significantly. From the earlier 24%, it has now come down to 11.8%. The weekly positivity rate has also come down to 14.8%. There's more in this report.
Madhya Pradesh for the consecutive fifth day registered less than 10,000 cases. State reported 8,087 fresh cases and 88 fatalities, while 11,671 patients were recovered from infection. The number of active cases in the state stands at 1,04,444. More than 60,000 tests are being conducted every day. Meanwhile, the state government announced cancellation of the Class 10 board exams due to current COVID-19 pandemic situation. Announcing the decision, Chief Minister said that board exams for Class 10th won't take place. Mark sheets will be issued based on evaluation. On the other hand, board exams for students of Class 12th have been postponed. Exams will be held when the situation improves. Pooja P. Vardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Rajasthan, there has been a continuous decline in the number of new cases of COVID-19 for the past 1 week. In all, 18,231 new cases of COVID were reported in the state on the 8th of May, which declined to 14,289 yesterday. Our correspondent reports that a decrease in the number of new cases has been witnessed in all the districts of the state except Alwar district.
There has been a decrease in the number of new cases in the state, but the positivity rate is still more than 21%. A decline in the cases has also been witnessed in Jaipur, but the positivity rate remains more than 30%. Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot has instructed to work on a new strategy to reduce the positivity rate in the capital. A fine of rupees 1 lakh is being imposed on the gathering of more than 11 people in marriage functions. Drones are also being used by the police to monitor the lockdown provisions in the several districts. Meanwhile, the increasing number of COVID patients in the villages continues to be a cause of concern for the health department and the administration. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
In Kerala, the state government has extended lockdown till the 23rd of May as COVID cases continue to surge. Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has said that the restrictions need to continue as the test positivity rate remains high at 26.41%. Triple lockdown is declared in 4 districts: Thiruvananthapuram, Ernakulam, Thrissur and Malappuram. The Chief Minister said that the effects of the statewide lockdown that began on the 8th of May are expected to be visible in the next couple of weeks. The Chief Minister said that the state doesn't have any oxygen shortage as of now, and the Oxygen Express sent by the centre will arrive in the state soon. The vaccination process for people of age group 18 to 44 years will begin from Monday. The state government has also decided to lessen the prices for COVID-related essential equipment.
Bihar has received 184 oxygen concentrators from USA. Health Minister Mangal Pandey said out of these, 92 concentrators will be supplied to Sadar and primary health centers in different parts of the state. 23 concentrators will be given to a private hospital at Patna and 69 to a private hospital at Muzaffarpur. The state has also received 265 oxygen cylinders from different countries. The special aircraft of the Indian Air Force carried these cylinders. Meanwhile, Bihar is witnessing a decline in fresh COVID-19 cases. The state's recovery rate has improved to about 85.63%, while the test positivity rate has declined to 6.91%. 7,494 fresh cases of COVID-19 were reported in the state during the last 24 hours, while 14,131 people recovered yesterday. In all, 89,563 patients are receiving treatment in different hospitals of the state. Over 88,37,000 people have been vaccinated in the state so far. Sikkim government has announced a complete lockdown in the state from 17th to 24th of this month to curb the rising COVID-19 cases. The decision was taken as the state was reporting case positivity rate of more than 20% over the last few weeks. Sikkim recorded 2,903 new cases and 51 deaths in the last 14 days. Restrictions on inter- and intra-state movement, including curfew after 5 p.m., were already in place in Sikkim since the 6th of this month and are effective till tomorrow.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chairs a high-level meeting to review COVID-19 related situation and vaccination program. Prime Minister to hold an important meeting this evening to review preparedness for the upcoming cyclone Tauktae. Health Minister Dr. Harsh Vardhan to hold meeting with state health ministers of Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. First batch of the drug 2-deoxy-D-glucose developed by the DRDO for COVID-19 treatment expected to be launched next week. Country witnesses declining trend in the number of fresh COVID-19 cases. Over 326,000 new cases reported in the last 24 hours. Recovery rate of COVID-19 patients improves to 83.83%. Over 18 crore 4 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered across the country so far. Medical aid comprising ventilators, respirators and other medical equipment arrives from Kazakhstan. Portals of Gangotri Shrine opened this morning amid traditional rituals, and heavy rain continues in Kerala as cyclone Tokte intensifies. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
A consignment of 105 ventilators, 750,000 masks and respirators and other medical equipment arrived from Kazakhstan this morning. India has expressed gratefulness to Kazakhstan for the support. External Affairs Ministry has also thanked Gilead Sciences, a US biopharmaceutical company, for a gift of over 29,000 vials of remdesivir that arrived in Mumbai early this morning. In Maharashtra, 110 medical cadets, including 21 female cadets of the 55th batch of the Armed Forces Medical College in Pune, AFMC, were commissioned as medical officers into the Armed Forces Medical Services, AFMS, today. The passing out parade for commissioning AFMC medical cadets had to be called off for the first time since 1982 due to the prevailing COVID-19 restrictions. The medical cadets were commissioned by Commandant of AFMC Lieutenant General Nardeep Naithani in a brief ceremony. Lieutenant General Naithani congratulated newly commissioned officers. He reminded the graduating batch that they were joining the medical profession at a time when the country was passing through a difficult phase. He exhorted them to provide the best possible care to their patients as they join the nation's battle against the pandemic as COVID warriors. The preparatory period for commissioning of this graduating batch of AFMC was curtailed by 2 weeks. This period was utilized to give intensive training to specifically prepare these young doctors to work in COVID care settings. The medical officers commissioned today would be leaving immediately to join as interns in 31 Armed Forces Medical Services hospitals across the country, which are also designated for COVID care of armed forces personnel as well as civilians.
In the ongoing COVID pandemic, people have turned towards natural methods to boost their immunity. Ancient Indian methods have also come to the fore during the fight against the disease and to improve health from within. Due to COVID-19, people are forced to stay indoors. Talking to All India Radio News, environmentalist Mukul Sanbal says the plant Areca palm should be kept at home to increase the oxygen within the household. More in this report.
In the ongoing pandemic, the government too recommended several traditional ways and means to boost the immunity. Environmentalist Mukul Sanwal suggests planting areca palm can be helpful in increasing the oxygen supply. He also suggests several other natural ways to improve the surroundings within the house.
Areca palms a lot of oxygen can be found in a large number of offices in the West where you have sealed windows. Because of air conditioning or central heating, people keep areca palms to increase the oxygen.
The increased use of plastic in form of plastic coverings like masks and PPE kits will harm the environment in the longer run. To ease this problem, Mr. Sanwal suggests that some of the plastic things can be recycled, taking all the precautions to avoid any health hazard.
If we are trying to recycle syringe, we need to be careful that in the recycling process, syringe is not reused rather than being recycled. So this is a very novel kind of pandemic that we are facing because it is highly infectious. So we will need to adapt traditional methods of environmental pollution control to deal with this new problem.
Traditional and environmentally sustainable means can go a longer way in better preparing us to fight the COVID-19 virus. Diksha Saxena for AIR News, Delhi.
Cine personality Raza Murad has said that tough times come, but it never lasts. He has urged people to cooperate in tiding over the COVID pandemic.
ये जो कठिन समय है, ये भी गुजर जाएगा, लेकिन इसके लिए आपको बहुत एहतियात रखनी है. आपको सैनिटाइजर का इस्तेमाल करना है. आप जरूरत पड़ने पर ही बाहर जाएं और मास्क लगाकर जाएं. सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग का पूरा ख्याल रखें. इससे आपकी भी सुरक्षा है और आपके परिवार की भी सुरक्षा है. तो मैं यही कहूंगा कि गम की अंधेरी रात में दिल को ना बेकरार कर. सुबह जरूर आएगी, सुबह का इंतजार कर. लेकिन इस सुबह के आने में आपकी कोऑपरेशन चाहिए, आपका सहयोग चाहिए. आपको कोरोना से बचना है, आपको अपने परिवार को बचाना है, आपको अपने मोहल्ले, अपने शहर, अपने प्रदेश, अपने देश को बचाना है. हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास. हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन.
The portals of Gangotri have been opened this morning amid traditional rituals. However, Yamunotri Shrine was opened yesterday after the winter season. Our correspondent reports that due to COVID-19, devotees were not allowed to perform puja archana. Only priests were permitted. A limited number of priests performed traditional rituals on this occasion. The state government has already cancelled the Char Dham Yatra this year due to the surge in COVID-19 pandemic.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi released the 8th installment of financial benefit under the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi PM Kisan scheme to over 9 crore 50 lakh farmers in the country yesterday. Under the 8th installment, over 20,000 crore rupees have been transferred directly into the accounts of the beneficiary farmers.
On this occasion, the Prime Minister interacted with beneficiary farmers of the scheme from various parts of the country, including Anantapur in Andhra Pradesh, among the others. Vannu Ramma, who interacted with Prime Minister, hails from Duradakunta village in Kalyanadurgam Mandal in Anantapur district. Following natural farming, she could achieve double the income from the produce. While interacting with the AER correspondent, Vannu Ramma says,
I am Vannu Ramma. I have started natural farming and could grow 3 crops such as cereals, groundnut, vegetables. I spent 27,000 rupees and could earn profit of 1,07,000 rupees.
PM Kisan scheme has benefited millions of farmers since its launch on 24th February in 2019. Under this scheme, 6,000 rupees is transferred annually into the account of farmers in 3 equal installments. No doubt, the jubilant Vannu Ramma will be a role model to many single women and unemployed youth. Dr. G. Kondalrao, AER News, Vijayawada, with N. Harikrishna.
India Coast Guard ship Vikram rescued distressed fishing boat Badriya with 3 crew off Kannur in Kerala in a midnight operation yesterday. All crew members are safe and were taken to Kochi for handing over. Cyclone Tauktae, which lay as a deep depression over Lakshadweep area and adjoining southeast and east central Arabian Sea, is very likely to further intensify into a severe cyclonic storm in the next 24 hours, bringing heavy to very heavy rain to many parts of the western coast. It is very likely to move north-northwestwards and reach near Gujarat coast by morning of the 18th of this month. India Met Department IMD has forecast heavy to very heavy rainfall at isolated places in Lakshadweep today and heavy rainfall at isolated places tomorrow.
In Kerala, heavy rains continue to wreak damage as Cyclone Tauktae intensifies. Our correspondent has more details.
Widespread sea erosion and damage is being reported in the coastal areas of the state. As sea remains rough, ship journey to Lakshadweep is completely stopped. Thousands of people are being shifted to relief camps. Extensive damages are being reported from hilly regions and low-lying areas. Red alert is issued in 5 northern districts. District control rooms are opened. National and state disaster response forces, naval forces and coast guards are coordinating the relief measures. Meanwhile, few stranded fishermen were rescued by coast guards in Kannur. Mayusha for AR News from Thiruvananthapuram.
The Indian Meteorological Department IMD has issued a yellow alert for Mumbai and Thane for the 17th of May and a green alert for Palghar district of Maharashtra because of Cyclone Tauktae. A yellow alert signifies heavy rains at isolated places, whereas green alert indicates light to moderate rain. The low pressure formed over the southeast Arabian Sea and Lakshadweep, which is likely to concentrate into a depression over the region. Meanwhile, NDRF Commandant Anupam Srivastav has said that currently Cyclone Tauktae is around 250 to 300 kilometers away from the western coast of Maharashtra, and it is expected to make impact on the state of Maharashtra late night today or tomorrow at any time. He was briefing media persons in Mumbai today.
साइक्लोन तौते के लिए एनडीआरएफ की तरफ से पूरी तैयारी है। हमारी 3 टीमें मुंबई में तैनात हैं। एक टीम हमने कल रात को ही गोवा भेजी है और बाकी 14 टीमें हमारे पास पुणे हेडक्वार्टर में तैनात हैं, जो कि बहुत ही शॉर्ट नोटिस पर प्रशासन के आदेश पर कहीं पर भी तैनात की जा सकती हैं।
The mortal remains of a woman from Kerala who was killed in rocket attacks from Gaza earlier this week arrived at Delhi airport this morning. Minister of State for External Affairs V. Muralidharan received the mortal remains. He, along with Israel's Deputy Envoy Roni Yedidia Klein, also paid floral tribute. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will chair the 43rd GST Council meeting via video conferencing at 11 a.m. in New Delhi on the 28th of this month. The meeting will be attended by Minister of State for Finance Anurag Thakur, besides finance ministers of states and union territories and senior officers from union government and the states.
India's export performance continues to be impressive in April this year, with merchandise exports accelerating by more than 195% over April 2020 levels and over 17% over April 2019 levels. Merchandise export, excluding POL and gems and jewelry, has increased by more than 160% in April this year over the same period of 2020-21 and by over 20% over the same period of 2019-2020. The economic recovery is also visible in the rising import growth of over 167% during the month of April this year over the same period of 2020-21 and by more than 7% in April of this month over the same period of 2019-20. Service exports estimated for the month of April this year are more than $21 billion, registering a positive growth of over 28% as compared to April of 2020.
On the occasion of International Day of Families, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today called upon everyone to strengthen and preserve the valuable institution of family. In a tweet, Mr. Naidu said, "Family is the foundational unit of our society." He said the family has been a great support system in every situation, helping us to take care of each other.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi will have generally cloudy skies with light rain or drizzle. Temperature will hover between 23 and 39 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Minimum temperature was 27 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 32 degrees Celsius. Chennai will also have generally cloudy skies with light rain or drizzle. Temperature will hover between 29 and 35 degrees. Kolkata will have partly cloudy skies with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorms. Minimum temperature was 26 degrees Celsius and the maximum around 35 degrees. Jammu will have partly cloudy skies. The minimum temperature was 20 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 32 degrees. Srinagar will see partly cloudy skies with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Temperature will hover between 10 and 24 degrees Celsius. Leh is expected to have partly cloudy skies. The temperature will hover between 2 and 13 degrees Celsius. Gilgit will have generally cloudy skies. The temperature will hover between 10 and 29 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad will have partly cloudy skies. Minimum temperature was 15 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 31 degrees Celsius. Dehradun will have partly cloudy skies. Minimum temperature was 19 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 33 degrees. Chandigarh will have generally cloudy skies. The temperature is likely to hover between 21 and 37 degrees Celsius.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chairs a high-level meeting to review COVID-19 related situation and vaccination program. Prime Minister to hold an important meeting this evening to review preparedness for the upcoming cyclone Tauktae. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan to hold meeting with state health ministers of Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. First batch of the drug 2-deoxy-D-glucose developed by DRDO for COVID-19 treatment expected to be launched next week. Country witnesses declining trend in the number of fresh COVID-19 cases, over 326,000 new cases reported in the last 24 hours. Recovery rate of COVID-19 patients improves to 83.83%. Over 18 crore 4 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered across the country so far. Medical aid comprising ventilators, respirators and other medical equipment arrives from Kazakhstan. Portals of Gangotri Shrine opened this morning amid traditional rituals, and heavy rain continues in Kerala as Cyclone Tauktae intensifies. And with that, we end the midday news.